In a world where athletes are known for their skills on the field, there's another area where they also love to shine, their personal style. And behind many of these custom jewelry pieces that make a statement on and off the field is one man, a local jeweler who's made a mark crafting personalized designs for some of the biggest names in sports.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Leo Khusro. This is my office. Welcome in. I just put up some guys that I work with. I have relationships with all these guys, and these mean a lot to me. It's like Vinny, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson. These guys have played huge roles in my life. This guy's supposed to win the Ballon d'Or, which is the best player in the whole world. I make jewelry for a living, but I never imagined having all this stuff.
He's known as your favorite athlete's favorite jeweler. Leo Khusro, a kid from West Houston, traded in a college degree for his passion.
If you were to ask me 10 years ago, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would have told you an entrepreneur.
So at the 11th hour, he dropped out of college with 2 classes left to graduate, a move that shocked his family.
They're looking at me crazy. We didn't come here to give you this life. But I told my parents, I said, give me 6 months to prove it to you. Yeah. Give me 6 months. And if not, I'll go back to school. For those 6 months, I just grinded every day. Back here is the past 4 years of my life. I started this company 4 years ago. This is where I have my fun. This is where I get to get my creativity out. This is actually the first piece I ever made. This is the first piece of jewelry I ever made. This is a rapper, his name's Nav.
Breaking into the sports world wasn't easy, but for Leo, it came down to connections and a little bit of luck.
It's actually a crazy story. I snuck into this guy's concert in Houston, and there was a jeweler that was supposed to be at the event, and I showed up a little early, and I told them I'm a jeweler, and they let me in. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I'm like, yo, I make jewelry, this is what I'm doing. He's like, okay, make me a piece. You know, you're a first-time jeweler, you're making a piece for the first time ever. Make me something. I have a certain level of status, I can't just wear anything. Mm-hmm. If I like it, I'll buy it. I took all the money I had at the time. I had $4,000 or $5,000. Yeah. I went back home. I put a piece together. I borrowed money from my grandma. I put everything together, and then I showed it to him, and he absolutely loved it. And this was the first start of my jewelry career.
For Leo, making jewelry isn't just about adding diamonds and gold.
I just made this. This is a lot of fun.
It's about creating a lasting connection, a piece that tells the athlete's story.
I have a client named Kamari Lassiter. He plays for the Houston Texans. Yeah. His dad and I were on the phone for hours, and we came up with this. And it says Locksmith right here. Mm-hmm.
His nickname.
Yeah. He's got you on lock.
Yeah.
You throwing the ball his way, he's got you on lock. Don't throw the ball his way. Right. And then Lassiter, it's it feels more personal when you put your name on there. Yeah. And then this K3 right here, that's all 3 of them. That's mom, dad, and Kamari.
That's what hit home with me. My family is everything to me. He invested with my mom and my pops, and he had a really good relationship with them before I even got to talk to him. So, I mean, just knowing that my parents trust him, that makes it easy for me to trust him. And, we just went from there. He was super easy to work with, understood the vision, and made it come to fruition.
With athletes, the stakes are high. Their personal style is an extension of their brand, and jewelry is often the crown jewel of their look.
It's really just a symbol of hard work. And, a lot of us have played this game for a long time, and, a lot of us come from different situations, and it's just a symbol of just being able to kind of reward yourself for some of the hard work that you put in for your whole life.
And much like the athletes he works with, Leo had to bet on himself.
Being Indian, being from a culture of people that predominantly, when you're born, you're told you have 4 options. You're a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a businessman. And if you're none of those, you need to leave my house. And it's that struggle of your parents coming from a whole nother country to give you a brand new life.
And as long as athletes want to shine, Leo Khusro will continue to make pieces that speak louder than words. Luis Ortiz, KHOU 11 Sports.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Leo Khusro. This is my office. Welcome in. Right here on my office, you can see I just put up some guys that I work with. I have relationships with all these guys, and these mean a lot to me. So it's kind of you walk in here and you feel the vibe of who you work with, what you do, and it's just fun. I put these pictures up everywhere. It's a lot of different things, like Vinny, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson. These guys have played like huge roles in my life. But it's also like, these are my friends. So I get a cool jersey. This guy's supposed to win the Ballon d'Or, which is the best player in the whole world. So it's nice little things that, I get to do that add to my vibe. I make jewelry for a living, but I never imagined having all this stuff. Back here is kind of a vibe, because back here is like the past 4 years of my life. I started this company 4 years ago, and I've just been going, running and running. You can see me here when I'm 23 years old with CD Lamb, just starting out. And then you see me here like 3-4 years later with Vinny and Justin. Then you see me when I started off with Sauce Walker, Houston legend. Different things. Jalen Waddle's from the city too. Him and I are very close. We both grew up in Houston, and I do a lot of his stuff. So it's just fun to have these stuffs here. This is actually the first piece I ever made. This is the first piece of jewelry I ever made. This is a rapper. His name's Nav. He's from Toronto. But just stuff like that's a vibe.
I think that piece, you have it over there, don't you?
Yeah, I actually do.
Familiar. I think I saw
So
it.
I have this piece. I'll show you when we sit down over there.
Okay.
It's the first piece I ever made. He actually sent it over to me for cleaning.
Yeah.
So it's cool that I have it here. But I'm actually going to see him tomorrow.
Okay.
I fly out to LA tomorrow. I'm going to go link with him. And we're working on a few pieces. I'm seeing a tennis player too, Taylor Fritz. He just played in the final over in New York. Unfortunately, he didn't come up with the dub, but he gonna be back again.
Yeah, for sure.
They brought me into the private facility, and the guys were about to go to practice, but they got some chains before practice.
I can literally sign that.
This is actually in Houston. A lot of my guys come out to Houston just for a good time, good weekend. That's Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall.
And then you have, obviously, the main attraction over here.
Yeah. This is the fun. This is where I have my fun. This is where I get to get like my creativity out. A lot of different things here you won't find in your average jewelry store, your typical jewelry store. There's some cool things I'll show you. So like this chain in particular right here, I just made this. This is a lot of fun. This piece right here, it's got pink diamonds in it, but if you notice right here, it's got a different couple shapes. Like we threw some marquise in there, we threw some pear shapes in there, and this is fully paved. The difference between pave and prong set, pave means all the stones were hand drilled. Pave means that it was printed out on a wax, and we just opened up the prongs. We insert the stones and cut them. But everything here is hand, literally put in by hand itself. So it's a really unique piece. It takes about like 3.5 weeks to make. But the ideas when jewelry are endless. Like you have a little fun. These are infinity links, but we threw thorns on the infinity links and say, you know what, let's just throw some crosses in there. It's different details like this that can elevate the piece. This is not doing too much with too many diamonds, but it's also like, it speaks quality, it speaks elegance right away. These are fun. This is also an infinity link. Your average infinity links or your average stuff, they got smaller diamonds. Me and my clients like to work with some bigger budgets here, so we put the bigger diamonds in these pieces. They look crazy though. These are fun. These are like, a lot of people into colored jewelry today. So like, nowadays we're throwing in a lot of color. It makes the outfit pop. You throw this on your wrist, it's game over. It's shut down right here. Something like this, like this bracelet, 2 of these, you could get both these for $54,000. But it's a killer set. I actually just sent these to Joe Burrow. He got the purple one and the blue one on the way. Then I have like more fun stuff. A lot of people are into, putting crosses on jewelry. I think it's fun. Chrome Hearts had a hat they made, and it was like 3 crosses staggered next to each other. My little brother works for my company. His name's Abir. He actually came up with an idea of throwing the chrome heart crosses together on a bracelet, which I thought would be really cool. And I said, hey, if we're gonna play with chrome heart, we might as well buy some real chrome heart. So we bought a real chrome heart bracelet, and then we iced it out. Normally these don't come like this. This is more so for fun. But if you're into this stuff, you know, you could ice out anything. You could ice out your doorknob, you could ice out your steering wheel, you could ice out anything. You know, you guys have your teeth too. So.
And then this is the, I'm thinking this
was the piece
one, right?
this is actually my first piece I ever made. How it's in my hands right now is like actually mind-blowing to me because I remember the first time I ever made this and I dropped it off. The rapper told me, it's actually a crazy story. I snuck into this guy's concert in Houston and there was a jeweler that was supposed to be at the event and I showed up a little early and I told them I'm a jeweler and they let me in. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm backstage with Jay Prince Jr. and I have all these people and I'm like, yo, I make jewelry, this is what I'm doing. He's like, okay, make me a piece. You know, you're a first-time jeweler, you're making a piece for the first time ever. Make me something. I have a certain level of status, I can't just wear anything. If I like it, I'll buy it. I took like all the money I had at the time, I had like $4,000 or $5,000. I went back home, I put a piece together, I borrowed money from my grandma, I put everything together, and then I showed it to him. And he absolutely loved it. And this was the first start of my jewelry career. I flew out to LA, I dropped this off, I went to his show, I met The Weeknd that same night. And I started to see like, okay, just keep working hard, keep focusing, like your life's gonna change, kid. And through Nav, I was working with some people from the LA Rams. I stayed at a guy named Bobby Evans' house. His jersey's actually in the corner right there. And he was like, yo, you know, you seem like you're cool. He's like, where are you staying? I was like, in LA. He was like, that's 2 hours away, just stay here tonight. I said, you mind if I message some of the guys? He said, yeah. From me dropping this off to Nav and me staying at the football player's house, 20 guys came over the next day. I had 20 clients in the NFL and 1 rapper in 1 week of starting my whole business. And now like things have just carried forward. I just keep putting my foot on the gas. I got clients in Spain, I got clients in France, Brazil, Germany, England, the United States, Canada. Every NFL team you can think of in this country, I work with players from the team. I wish I could say the same about basketball, but we getting in there. Growing up, I just loved soccer. Indian kid, my parents didn't really want me playing football, you know? So I played soccer a lot, and I got a DM one day from a guy named Vinicius Jr. And when I got a DM, I was like, this is, doesn't make any sense. So I called my little brother. That was the first thing I did. I said, hey, a screenshot of the DM, and I said, is this real? And he said, bro, that's absolutely real. Like, respond. Responded in what I thought was the best manner. I responded in his language. I responded in Portuguese.
Nice.
So we spoke in Portuguese for a few months. He invited me to Brazil. I went to Brazil. We couldn't speak to each other, but he had a translator named Felipe. Felipe just kind of orchestrated the whole thing, got me through. And I built a relationship with players who play for Real Madrid. Growing up playing soccer, like that's the pinnacle of all sport when it comes to when it comes to that sport. So it was just like God has really taken care of me and blessed me in so many different ways, and like I just owe it all up to him, and I'm just trying to like be in a position where if God gave me this, then he basically allowed me to do this, so I wanted to show his greatness through what I do too. And being able to go through like all these different countries and all these different cities and meet all these people, it just allows me to just continue to just work on my craft. And I love this. I sit here and I do this for hours. I do this for days. I have a team, you know, I have a very dear friend to me named Shoaib, and we work on designs all day. And it's just stuff like this is so much fun because you get to bring a whole nother world to people. For example, I have a client named Kamari Lassiter. He plays for the Houston Texans. His father, who's actually sitting behind us right now, he called me up and he said, hey, I want to make a lock for my son. So we came up with a whole design. We went through a couple different designs. We drew them up. We went back and forth. His dad and I were on the phone for hours, and we came up with this. And it says Locksmith right here.
His nickname.
He's got you on lock. You throwing the ball his way, he's got you on lock. Don't throw the ball his way.
Right.
And then Lassiter, it's like, you know, it feels more personal when you put your name on there.
Yeah.
And then this K3 right here, that's all three of them. That's mom, dad, and Kamari.
Nice.
So it's just like, keeps everyone together, that's the thing. This actually has a key to it. The key goes in, and it fits in perfectly. And that was like our whole design of like, he's a cornerback.
Right.
You know? And like, you know, he'll have that celebration, got you on lock. Like, it's different things like that will help you like elevate not just what you are, but expresses you.
Right.
Like, this is an expression piece.
Yeah.
This is a trophy. I worked my butt off to do this, but you're gonna know who I am when I walk in the room.
Right.
You're gonna know. It says it right here.
It's a symbol.
It's a symbol of like so much more than just jewelry. These, for example, anyone can make a championship ring.
Yeah.
But when your friends play for Real Madrid and they call you and they say, hey, Leo, I want you to make a Champions League ring, you don't ever think like, wow, that someone's going to give me an opportunity to do something like that. Like, I've always dreamed of doing the championship rings for the NFL or the NBA, but never did I think someone would want a championship ring for soccer.
Yeah.
And so they gave me this opportunity, and this is really cool because it has a lot of details in it. Of course, you got the Real Madrid logo on top. Now, I set it with emeralds all across. It gives it like a luxurious look. And then I put sapphires. Real Madrid has a blue color on their logo. It's a very faint blue, but to add to the detail, I put the faint blue sapphires all through.
Yeah.
If you look right here, every single person who played that day, that game, their number is here. It gives it to a feeling where if I played for this team, I know who these guys are, I know the year.
Yeah.
I look back at it and I remember everyone. It wasn't just me that won this.
Right.
Everyone won this together. It's a team sport.
Yeah.
Right here, it's got the semifinal, the quarterfinal results. The 3-2 they won, the 5-4 they won, the famous Benzema hat tricks that y'all saw.
Yeah.
My brother and I were actually at the Paris Madrid game when Benzema scored a hat trick and the stadium erupted. I've never heard anything like that.
Right.
This is the final score, the 1-0. And this is like when you make a Champions League ring, I had the idea, my friend said they asked me to make this after they've won too.
Right.
So I said, okay, I made this one. First one's gotta be super cool, super clean. Second one's gotta go bonkers. You know.
That's when you really got creative.
Yeah, this where I had like, this was fun. And it was a lot of fun making it, and it was like special for that year. If you look right here, I'll show you a detail. That final was in Paris. So that's why we have the Eiffel Tower here.
Yeah, I see it.
So it's just, you know, and you've got the trophies going along the side. You've got the 14 to say that they've won 14. Right. It's like the 14 in Spanish. And then you got the 15 right here. This is the 15th Champions League ring. What's special about this one is I said, okay, we got to go crazier.
Yeah.
So right here you've got a flag that says 22 and 24. When you look at a stadium banner, when you go to the NBA game or a football game, they've got the banners with the flags of the year they've won.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, it'd be cool to throw this in. Then they've got the Champions League logo. It's got the name right here. It says Militao, the number 3. On this side, we've got the final result, the Real Madrid versus Dortmund, which ended up being 2-0. Mm-hmm. And then you've got, the beautiful thing about these, I told you earlier, there's a difference between prong set and pave. All these rings are pave. They have to be. They are iconic pieces that people will look at in their lifetime. I can just open this anytime in my drawer and be like, wow, this is the memory from that day. But to go above and beyond, like I said, it's the second ring. We got to go a little crazier. They're probably going to win a third one. I already have an idea for that. But right now, you take this Cartier watch opener, and you've got the stadium inside. It's the Santiago Bernabeu with the 15th Champions League inside. On the back of this, it says the 2 times he's won the award. If he had won this trophy 3 times, 4 times, there'd be 4 or 3. Right. If he'd won it 1, there'd be 1. So they're very personal to the person. The cool part about this one is it also becomes a chain. So let's say you want to flex the fact that you have won 2 of these. You have 2 trophies on the front, and you've got your logo. You don't even have to put this other ring on. You could just wear this pendant all day, and it shows you, hey, I've won 2 Champions Leagues. Yeah. You know, it's fun. It makes it special, and the fact that I got to do this for Vinny, Rodrigo, Militao, and I'm working on something for some other guys, it's a blessing. And it's just like, this is where the jewelry fun gets to come. There's trinkets. There's all these combinations. I've done a piece for a guy named Pat Sertain. It was a PS2 controller. Every one of the buttons on the controller lit up a different part of the piece, and the analog sticks you could move.
Right.
Today, he's branded as PS2.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all about creative expression, but also finding some stuff that like fits you. And sometimes you'll have no meaning to it, you know? Sometimes it'll just be a beautiful piece, you know? Elegant.
The colors and the type of stone.
The type of jewelry that I'm trying to put on people is not just like stuff you see where, you know, just only one type of market can wear it. Like, I'm telling y'all right now, the Queen of England would put this on if she was alive today. Like, these are beautiful pieces. They're elegant. All handmade, all high quality. So I really have fun with this stuff.
Let me ask you about your journey. Because you mentioned earlier, 4 years ago is when you started your business.
Yeah.
And then you also mentioned about your first piece, how you took a risk. You say, I mean, look, I came up with all the money that I had, my savings, everything borrowed from my grandma, you know, and you got a shot, right? The artist said, hey, listen, you're a first-time jeweler. This is your first piece. Let's see if I like it. So talk to me about your journey. How did it start? Aside from that, what you already mentioned, but more so the vision, the interest in designing, where did that come from? Is that something that as a kid you always liked drawing, or how did that begin for you?
No, I didn't. If you were to ask me 10 years ago, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would have told you an entrepreneur, someone who just started a business.
Right.
I didn't have a specific passion to be a jeweler. And I say this to say that, like, it's okay to not know what you want to do.
Right.
It's okay to, like, be a senior. I was a senior in college. I had 6 credits left. I had 2 classes left, and I decided to drop out of school. And I decided to take a risk on myself. I didn't want to be just, like, going on the path that I was. I said, let's come up with a different idea. You live one life. Like, go as hard as you can to network, create opportunities for yourself, meet people, learn how to do different things. So I picked up a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I realized that things get taught to you in different ways. They don't get taught to you in school. So school isn't the only way of doing something.
Right.
So then I figured out, I was watching a video one day of a guy named Ben Baller. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, he's a jeweler, he meets cool people, he gets to use his creative expression, he just designs stuff. And I've always been, like, fond of just different things. So I was like, okay, let me try this out. I went to a place here in Houston. I just asked them some questions. I sat around. I ended up going to a place, his name is Iceman Nick. I ended up working with him for a year, and I just shadowed everything he did. In the first year of working with him, I did phenomenal. I sold $4 million worth of jewelry. And I was just like, this is really working out for me. This is stuff I want to get done. And I'm just going to keep pushing the buttons. I'm going to keep pressing this and see where it goes. I've met a lot of people in my life where I get to do creative things and, like, sit down and brainstorm pieces like this.
Yeah.
That was where the fun part came to me. I was like, I enjoy this.
Right.
A lot of people who are in the jewelry industry, sometimes they're doing their family business. More often than not, 90% of people are doing their family business. This business is the hardest business to get into if you don't have money. But that inspired me. I was like, I'm not about to be shut out because I'm not welcomed here.
Yeah.
That gives me more of a reason to want to succeed.
Right.
Oh, you don't think I can be here? Okay, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna stay here. And so then I started creating different things, different designs, going into the aspect of what a design would be and breaking that down and giving that to someone is the most fun, like, thing I could ever tell you. There's not something that gives me more, like, satisfaction than that. For a basketball player, it might be catching a touchdown. It might be shooting the ball and seeing going to go through the net. For me, the greatest satisfaction I can get is to design this stuff and to be a part of the process of creating you something specifically.
Right. If we can go back to that moment when you got your shot and you say, okay, I'm going to put all my money, my savings into this. Take me through the emotions. There must have been a little bit of fear, right? Some nervousness.
It was, you know, as a kid who was 23 years old, $9,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot. I don't think that anyone's, you can't even go to mom and dad asking for $9,000. They're gonna look at you crazy.
Yeah.
So I got $400 from my grandma, and I just kind of put the rest of the money that I've ever had my whole life, put it together. And that feeling of working towards something and seeing it get done, for me was like, this is happening. You just need to just lock in.
Yeah.
Because everything is unraveling for you. So just keep going, going, going. And I was scared of like, what if he doesn't like the piece?
Right.
Then I thought to myself, I said, if you go into this thinking he's not gonna like it, you're not gonna design it good. You have to think he's going to love it. And you have to be as passionate about it as you can, because the moment you love it, he's gonna love it too. That was the trigger for me. And that's been the realization for me through everything. Just work hard on it and do your best on it. People are gonna like it. If they don't like it, they don't have to buy it.
Right.
You know?
So is that, would you say that's what it takes to create the perfect piece? Or what does it take to create the perfect piece? Or maybe not perfect, but just what you create, what Leo creates in his branding.
I think when it comes down to like the perfect piece, it's just gotta be perfectly imperfect for you.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if it fits your vibe, if it fits your, today they use the word aura. If it fits your aura, you know, like, it'll be good for you. It's like Deion Sanders back in the day, look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of athletes today get to be someone else when they do certain things. I have a client named Justin Jefferson. He says in his latest Netflix documentary, when I put all these chains on, when I get all these things on, I go into an alter ego.
Yeah.
I'm a whole nother person.
Right.
It gives you the idea to just be bigger than who you are in different ways for different people. Some people look at it like, I've worked so hard for this. I'm gonna wear it. So it's like trying to find that connection of why they want it and building around that to why they're happy with what they get. Because, like I said, some of those cost $78,000.
Yeah.
You have to love this.
Right.
I love this, you know? So it's like finding that perfect piece for someone is always just coming down to like their personality. Every single person on this planet is different. So they're gonna like different things.
Something that you mentioned that I like is, this is sort of a symbol for athletes, you know. For me, I think of it as in like, it's not just about wearing jewelry, being flashy or whatnot, but more so of a symbol where typically guys, when they get drafted, they maybe get their first piece, you know.
Yeah.
Nowadays with NILs, it's starting to be a little bit different because college kids are starting to make money or whatnot. But before it was like, okay, I've made it. This was like your statement piece where I've made it to the pros. All the sacrifice, all the work that you had to put in as a kid, all the way growing up to get drafted or whatnot. So for athletes, I feel like it's a symbol of that, of saying, man, this is my hard work and sacrifice. For you, what's the personal meaning behind it, behind all these pieces?
The personal meaning for me, like, is to be able to give that moment to that person.
Yeah.
To be able to just go into the lab and work hard for 3-4 weeks, maybe a month or two, and come back to that person and let them be like, the vision that you had for what you wanted this to be for is like the reason why I was so happy putting it together. It goes bigger than beyond just jewelry. It's like you said, most people do get their first piece when it comes to the draft. And now NIL has a big changes in what's going on, but the symbol doesn't change. You know, the money they might have access to money earlier, but a lot of people, like growing up, not a lot of people are able to afford certain things like these.
Right.
You have the opportunity to do things like that. A lot of people buy watches.
Yeah.
Watches, the watch market last year was bigger than the housing market. That just shows to tell you that people invest their money in jewelry, people spend their money in jewelry, but it's all about buying the right high quality pieces, because anyone can just sell you any jewelry. But when you know who you're working with, when you trust the person, when you enjoy hanging out with the person and you get a good vibe, and they make the best jewelry you possibly could get, it's a relationship you want to keep for life. And which is why I stress and say, like, I love working with every single person, designing something unique for them, because that experience will grow for them. It's all an experience for everyone. I provide an experience.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of that. Relationships. You walk in here into your office and you look around and it's a bunch of jerseys, photos with you and your clients and stuff. But you mentioned you become friends. You know, the vibe that you guys can feel. You know, you vibe and whatnot. Talk about. Can you maybe kind of take us behind the scenes, if you will, as far as the type of trust it takes, how you have to cultivate these relationships. You know, for them to trust you, because one, it is a lot of money, right? But
yeah.
Two, they also become friends, and then they confide in you,
yeah.
and you know, you have that relationship. So if you can kind of maybe take us behind the scenes as far as that goes, the relationships that you build with these players.
When it comes to my industry, it comes to like how much reputation you've had, like how much you've actually put out that's been quality wise, that people can trust you. Jewelry, when no matter what, is a trust business. And if I don't feel like you have met the standard, or if I don't feel like you have the resources or the artistry behind it to give me what I need, mm-hmm. then I can't go through this project with you. But if I give, like if you were like Nav, and you give, and it's not just for me, it's for any person who sells you anything or is a jeweler out there, if you give someone a chance and they do their 100% best to make it done for you, you can't go wrong with that person.
Yeah.
At all. Because you really just put out your best foot forward, and that's all you can do, you know, and that's the business we're in. You know, you put your best foot forward, and you try to put out the best quality stuff you can, and you really try to make sure that the quality that you're putting out is not accessible by everyone else. I don't want to sell you something everyone else can.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me who I am. But working with people like when I first started, like Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, they kind of put me in a area where people can come to me and network with me because I've networked with them. So it's like you take care of one person, you do the right thing, and God will shower you with more and more.
Is that the way that you broke into the sports industry? Because it's a tough industry to get into, especially it's a very competitive industry, jewelry, right? For athletes and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of jewelers that are celebrity jewelers and stuff. So
I mean this in no way, shape, or form, but like to anyone to disrespect, but this has probably been the easiest thing I've done in my whole life. You know, to me this comes naturally.
Yeah.
And like a lot of athletes can tell you when they go play the sport, it comes naturally to them.
Right.
So it's like, just comes down to that.
When you see them wearing your pieces, your art, I want to know the emotion that you feel.
Yeah.
You know,
At first, I used to express it. You know, I'd be like, "Oh, that guy's wearing my chain on the field," but then I realized it's like I'm being annoying. So I'm sitting here with my family members, my mom, my dad, my brothers, and like, you know, your family will always keep you humble. You know, I grew up with the brothers, so it's like, "Ah, that guy's wearing my chain." He's like, "We get it, bro."
Yeah.
You know, but the emotion of like the understanding of at the end of the day, like they know how deep that is, they know how amazing that is. That feeling where like you can't replace that feeling, and you see it with the people around you. You see it like if I tell my friend, "Oh, that guy's wearing my chain," like you feel proud of it. It's your work.
Yeah.
I put my time into this.
Yeah.
Like the same way that you put your time into these interviews, the same way you put your time into every day. Like you go out there and you work, you hustle, like doing the same exact thing. But I'm just like, I'm so blessed because I absolutely love this. I can stare at the shit all day.
Yeah. Do you have sketches? When you design with you and your?
I do, but they're not here at the
Okay.
moment. They're at my other office.
But that is a process. That's how it
But
goes.
what
right?
I can do is
draw
send
and-
you like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Now, I wanted to dive into a little bit into your culture, your background, because you mentioned
Okay.
earlier being
Yeah.
Indian, you know, and myself, I'm Mexican, right? And I think in some ways maybe we can sort of relate.
Yeah.
I know we come from different parts
Yeah.
of the world, but you know, I feel like there's some similarities. So, talk about your family and your roots. Your parents, I imagine they're proud. You
Yeah.
know, did they ever imagine that you would get here? Was this something that they even wanted you to do? You know, those kind of things.
Yeah, I'll make a joke. My mom told me that she didn't think I would graduate college.
Okay.
But of course, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, that's all a joke. she's so proud of me today for everything that I do. And being Indian, being from a culture of people that predominantly, when you're born, you're told you have 4 options. You're a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a businessman. And if you're none of those, you need to leave my house. And it's that struggle of your parents coming from a whole nother country to give you a brand new life. They don't want to see you mess up your life.
Yeah.
They took the risk. They met in Hong Kong. The 2 Indians who met in Hong Kong and then decided to come here and start a family. So it's not easy. I know my dad grew up in a small place called Aligarh. If I show you the place and I show you the town, you're not going to want to stay there a week. You're not.
Yeah.
So for him to come from those backgrounds and to give the opportunity for us to have a life here, and then me tell them I'm dropping out of school 6 credits before I'm supposed to graduate, they're looking at me crazy. We didn't come here to give you this life. But I told my parents, I said, give me 6 months to prove it to you.
Yeah.
Give me 6 months. And if not, I'll go back to school. For those 6 months, I just grinded every day. Every single day. And my parents are so proud of me, and I hear from a lot of different people in my culture that you showed us that it doesn't have to be this way. You can do other things and succeed. And going back to being a minority in this country and being able to relate, like, I know I have friends who have parents who immigrated here as well.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do something different, you know? Did your parents ever imagine you to be a reporter?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're so proud of you today. And like, I never thought jewelry would be something I would do. And if you ask them to, they never thought I would do that. But my dad has, you can look up his name. He has interviews with ESPN. You know, like to be able to have that, and through me was like, it's every foreign kid's dream. It's like,
it's the payback, right?
Yeah.
That's how you pay your parents back for taking that risk, to moving over here and giving you the opportunity to become someone.
And they say the American dream is dead, but I'm living it.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Leo, to begin to wrap up, something that we should know about you. What is that?
About me?
Yeah, Leo. Who is Leo, or anything that we should know about you? Something that maybe sticks out to you that says, maybe I haven't asked it yet. Maybe I've missed it or something. Something that we should know about Leo.
Fun fact about me: I'm a great soccer player.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm all right. I love sports. I love hanging out with my family. Growing up, I've just always been like someone who's always wanted to accomplish having a lot and building a legacy. One thing that I really want people to know about me is I don't care about the money. Like, all this stuff can be $1 million on the table right now. That doesn't bring me happiness. What brings me happiness is coming from a different place and creating a legacy in this country for my family and generations to have.
Yeah.
Something to be proud of. And I think what people should know about me most is everything I do in my work, I'm proud of it. And I just want to like continue to grow this legacy. The value is not the most important thing. Of course, I don't want to sell you nothing less than the highest quality I possibly can provide for you. But money just comes with hard work and doing the right things. And building a legacy is the #1 most important thing of it all. And in Houston, you will continue to see the legacy I build for the next 40, 50, 60 years in coming. Because it's coming. I just started.
Yeah.
If you think that this is the pinnacle or this is where I stop, I don't. It's just the tip of the iceberg. And that's what I want people to know.
All right, and the last one. What is the most gratifying part of all of this? Because I'm sure this has changed your life.
Yeah.
You've met, many people. You've gone different places. You create amazing pieces out of everything.
The most valuable thing is the connections. I have connections in every continent today. You can call me tomorrow and say, hey, Leo, I'm going to Paris. No problem. I'll get you your dinners, your drivers, whatever you need. Hey, Leo, I'm going to Miami. Hey, I'm going to Charlotte. Hey, I'm going to Milan, Italy. You know, I'm going to Munich, Germany. It's the connections. Like, at the end of the day, like, we're people, we only live a certain amount of years. So, like, the more connections you build, the more you understand about the world, and you realize, like, how insignificantly small you are. And that the more connections you build, the world becomes smaller too. So I think that's just the most gratifying part of it all. I have friends that will win the Ballon d'Or this year. You know, it's just someone I love dearly. It's close to my heart. You know, to be able to see him 4 years ago and where he is now, see where I am 4 years now. It's all growing. We're all growing together. And the connection of being able to connect with people and grow with them together, it's like I couldn't give you a feeling or an activity that could bring me enough happiness that it does.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate that.
For
Makes
sure.
sense. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
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 Good stuff, man.
No, thank y'all for coming by. To the rest of Houston that I want to get into, you know, products that I have and I'm working with, I am working on a line for people to have access to everything I make. Because at the end of the day, like, I want to grow this as a legacy, and I want Houston to be such a big culture. I've come back to Houston a lot. I'm working with the Texans, trying to get with the Rockets and the Astros. I built my whole company outside of the city, but now I'm gonna show the city love.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm really looking forward to.
That's fire, man.